Hello and welcome to The Limelight, your go-to podcast for all things marketing and SEO. I'm Chandler. I'm a digital marketing specialist here at Digital Limelight Media, and I'm thrilled to be one of your hosts. Each week, we dive deep into the world of digital marketing, bringing you expert insights, industry news, and actionable strategies to help you elevate your online presence and stay ahead of the curve.
Whether you're a marketer, an entrepreneur, or just curious about the dynamics of digital marketing, tune in to the In the Limelight podcast as we unlock the secrets to achieving optimized impact in the digital realm.
So join Lauren and I as we explore the exciting and ever-evolving landscape of digital marketing right here, The Limelight.
Hello, and welcome back to the Limelight Podcast. This is Lauren.
This is Chandler.
And today we're going to talk about leadership, marketing, literature, but most importantly, we've got a super special guest on today. But first, I want to talk about our Lime and Lemon. Chandler, take it away.
So I would say probably I'll start with the good and then probably end with the bad. Or should I do start with the bad, end with the good?
Ooh, let's start things off with a good note.
Okay, deal. I would say my lime today was I had a really big project for a client, and I'm really excited because we got exactly like what the client wanted to in terms of design, and they were just like really happy. And I think for me, like especially when they really like the design of a website, that is like really important to me because that's like their brand and identity. So I was really, really excited about that. And then I would say probably my lemon was they were out of my favorite sushi during at sushi day at the market today. So I didn't get my favorite sushi.
Oh no, the half price sushi is for real one of the best parts of the downtown market. Awesome. So for my lime today, we went up to Traverse City last weekend and stopped at the beach on the way down. And it was kind of cold and rainy when we were first there. But by the time we got to the beach, we went to Point Betsy in Frankfurt. It was just so gorgeous. The sky was blue. It was just amazing. The water was pretty chilly, but we were able to find some Petoskey stones, which was really cool. And then my lemon this week is our Tyler that I've talked about before, the one that kind of swindled us. He's been coming back, but he's been here for about 2.5 weeks, and we're still not even done with the tiling in the bathtub. Haven't even started on the floor, haven't started on the walls. So my bathroom still is months out. So I'm super, super excited about that. But we'd like to introduce our guest. Today we have Andrew Cromer, the CFO and one of the founders of Digital Limelight Media on today. Andrew Cromer, would you like to tell us your lime and your lemon?
Yeah. So this week has been a pretty good week. So my lemon, well, I'll start with that, would be the fact that we just got done with training and it went really well. We just completed a SEMrush training on becoming an AI marketer. It went over really well, and it's always good to see the team learn new skills and grow. My lime for the week is the fact that since I'm going on vacation the next couple days, having to cram a lot of stuff into a short week makes it a little stressful, but really looking forward to some time off.
Yeah, time off can definitely be needed, especially right after our busy season. Perfect. So getting into our main topic of the day, kind of literature, leadership, and marketing, we want to start off discussing that leadership through literature and how you can learn from basically the books that you're reading. It exposes you to so many different diverse viewpoints, cultures. It can enhance your empathy and your understanding, and that really just can make you an effective leader. Is there any specific books or instances that you want to highlight that have helped you kind of grow as a marketer and a leader and just the founder of Digital Limelight Media?
Yeah. Well, Kyle is our CEO and our founder. I came on a little bit after that and I'm one of the owners, but I am a strong believer in the fact that you are only as good as you think, and you're only as good as the information that you're putting in your brain. So from an early age, my father always instilled in me, wanting to learn and wanting to grow, and books for us to read. So early on when I was probably 18 or 19, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership were really good. But from there, anything by Malcolm Gladwell I find very beneficial in expanding the way that I think. Adam Grant has a lot of great books, but it just puts new concepts and changes the way. I also try to not only looking on the management side, which I do a lot of, but even trying to expand my knowledge base and stretch myself. I don't do a lot with the sales side, but I try to read some sales books because of the fact that Grant Cardone, Zig Ziglar, just because it gives you a mindset into those people, into those processes, and then helps just more make me a well-rounded business person.
Do you typically read more like nonfiction, kind of like, I don't want to call them the self-help, more like personal development, or do you ever have any narrative books too that you feel like have really helped you grow to where you are today?
For the most part, I read what I would consider self-help. My wife is big into fiction books, but I do branch out. I read some autobiographies. I would say that Shoe Dogs by Phil Knight is really just, it's a great book of how Nike got started and the struggles that they went through. I also read recently, last year I read Greenlight by Matthew McConaughey, which I mostly do audiobooks, and that one he actually narrates the book, so it's real beneficial. And just seeing how successful people have gotten to where they are, and especially that book, it talks a lot about in life there's red lights, areas in your life where you need to make a change, yellow lights where you need to stop yourself, consider where you're going, what path you're going to take, and then green lights that when things are going more, put the pedal to the metal and go full steam.
Do you think with that kind of red, yellow, and green light, and even just some of the other analogies that you mentioned, do you think that kind of like helps you create more of a critical thinking like process throughout your entire day, or even just like more of an effective like communicator when it comes to talking to anyone that, for example, like at DLM, if anyone had any sort of issue or if there was like a problem that you had to solve, do you think that those books kind of like help give you a little bit of like a solution from point A to point B?
Yeah, I would say more books, some books more than others. I think that you see challenges that other people went through. You saw how they handled those challenges. It definitely impacts. I think any content you consume is impacting your decision making and the way you go about things. So it really has expanded. Even there's the Freakonomic books. I forget the author off the top of my head, but those are a lot of like just weird challenges, weird problems, and how do you go about tackling those problems? And one thing with business is that you're always going to be facing new challenges and new problems.
I know one book that a lot of DLM people have read, I believe it was part of the short-lived book club we had last year, was Atomic Habits. That was one that I feel like I've pulled a lot from, just learning, how to create habits that will stick with you and kind of improve on the goals that you want. Chandler, were you around? I don't think you were around for the beginning of the DLM book club, and I guess the end as well, but it was a little short-lived. But we read a few really good marketing and personal development books. I really enjoyed that and the chats that we had together. I guess to end this segment, if there's one book that you would recommend for future marketers or just anyone looking to kind of build upon soft skills that would help themselves in marketing, what would it be?
I would say Simon Sinek's Start With Why. I found that book really beneficial, especially if you're early and you're starting out your career. Finding something that you're passionate about, finding something that you're good at, finding something that you can do every single day really was a beneficial. I think that I've read all his books, so they kind of blur together. Leaders Eat Last. I'm drawing a blank on a few of the other ones, but I would start there. I think that book really lays a good foundation in trying to find your purpose as you start out in your career.
I think other than Atomic Habits, if I were to shout out a book that it's going to be a little bit different, it's less personal development, but I really enjoyed Tuesdays with Morrie by Mitch Albom. I thought that one, I read it at the end of high school, and it just really kind of is a good book for being a good person. It's sad, trigger warning for like just complete and utter sadness. But if you're looking for a narrative about kind of being a good person, I would really highly recommend. Chandler, is there anything you would like to recommend?
Out of kind of that stuff that wasn't already said, I think there was a couple books that I really enjoyed, but one of them is called The Happiness Project, and it's basically about how you can find happiness and kind of continue to push yourself to find all of the good in like your job, in, you know, all aspects of your life, to kind of just be thankful for kind of what we have and be able to look at these things in a positive outlook and see these problems or challenges as areas to grow and then continue to build off of those problems that you solved.
Nearly 6 million searches happen on Google every minute. What if your business could be the answer to some of those searches? With Google Ads, it can be. Google dominates search engines with over 91% of the market share, making it the ultimate platform to boost your visibility. With Google Ads, you can target a specific audience. Whether it's by age, location, language, your ad reaches the right people at the right time. With Digital Limelight Media, you have control. Our expert team will help you choose when your ads show and how often they appear. With Google Ads, you only pay when someone clicks. From search ads that appear right at the top of the page when someone is looking for your services, to display ads that catch eyes on other websites, Google Ads offer a variety of ways to make your brand stand out. And with our in-depth analytics and transparent reporting, you'll see exactly how your ads are performing and how you can get even better results. Ready to turn searches into sales? Visit dlmconversion.com today and let us illuminate the path to your digital success.
Okay, so I know we kind of went over some like books about communication and leadership and, you know, just overall personal development. Do you think that this is helping you get like a vision and kind of a feel for just overall building an agency? Because DLM is obviously like a marketing agency, and I think you guys have done like a really, really strong job of building up like not only just the employees but like the culture at DLM to be really like inviting and also just like working hard while also being able to connect with each other and also connect with your clients. Can you kind of walk us through like what that looks like to you guys as, you know, the CFO and the owners?
Yeah, we, Ryan, Kyle, and myself, we spend a lot of time. It's not by mistake that, our culture is the way that it is. It's very intentional, and that to say that it's been perfect the whole time we've been in business would be a lie. We've gone through peaks and valleys, and there's things that we've done that haven't worked. There's things that we've done that have worked really well. It also has changed with the dynamic of the team as different people. I think that the last few years we've really hit our stride. We've been really intentional about, on a cultural standpoint, especially after coming out of the pandemic, figuring out a way that people could connect. With a hybrid model, we still believed that having those in-person get-togethers were really important. That's why we decided to go to the monthly model where we have the monthly get-together, that we spend resources so that we can get together, we can build those relationships, because we believe people work better when they have those relationships. From a employee development, I'm going to mess the quote up. I think it was Richard Brand, is, invest in your people and train them well enough to leave, pay them well enough to stay. So really trying to focus on developing talent here, because I think it benefits the individual, whether everybody who's ever worked here, and you guys have heard me say this, unfortunately when people leave, we're not sad. We wish them the very best, as that everybody who's worked here has helped us move along and helped us live our dream. And so we're very appreciative of that. And the thing is that we recognize the fact that why people are here, we want them to develop and we want them to grow. And I'm very proud when, if somebody goes on to another opportunity, they've taken what they've learned here and that they're applying it. So and that also, by having that mindset and developing people, has allowed us to have, the Tylers and the Emilys who have been here, for 11 years. Emily just, she's celebrating her 11 year this month. That's pretty remarkable to have, a handful of people that have been here from the very beginning.
I think it's a pretty unanimous, agreement across all the employees. You might know that we talk about this, but every time someone new is hired, everybody's like, oh, they fit in, or they're meant for DLM, or, oh, they're going to be great here. You and the other owners just tend to have a really good grasp on who's going to fit in, who's going to be a really good member of the team. And we really don't hire bad eggs. Like, we have a ton of really cool people, and I love everyone that we work with. What are the traits that you look for when you're screening the resumes or talking to them in the interviews?
Yeah. Some of that comes from, like I said, that it's not been all sunshine and rainbows. We've made some mistakes and some either bad hires or bad fits, or that sometimes a bad hire can be because it's on us. The training process more so in the early days wasn't as good as it is now. But really, as we're going through the interview process, we're looking for people that are self-starters, that are motivated, that are that have traits of being a hard worker. We can teach you a lot of the things that we do here, but those traits are, if you either have them or you don't, or at least as far as I've seen. So, and the other thing in the interview process is we are really looking for people that are going to fit in, that are going to jive well with the team that we have in place, and that are going to help continue and grow and move the DLM dream forward.
On the podcast, we've talked about kind of this stocking of the fridge, the Celsius, the little perks and stuff like that. How do you kind of create that balance between like the practical and the fun, kind of keeping us here, keeping us happy, but also making sure that, things are getting done. We're not just wasting company funds for like nothing. Where do you kind of set that balance?
It's a lot of meetings. Some of it's trial and error, if I'm being honest. The thing is that we view that the resources that we pour into the employees as investments. We don't have, you've heard Ryan say it a lot, we don't have a product. We're not in the sense of like, we don't make wheels or we don't make tires, in a traditional company sense. Our product is our people. And so the thing is that if we invest in our people and we treat our people well, and we go for, pour into our people, they then can then turn around and pour into our clients, which then is what generates revenue and generates business. So we see it in a very symbiotic relationship, that we need to have our employees, happy. They need to be, enjoy working here, and they like to contributing in an environment that they can be successful.
I think even not just like personally, but I've heard this like numerous times, but I think something that like really helps with DLM's culture is, like you said, all of this kind of like pouring into your people, and also making sure that we feel like, quote unquote, like nourished as a company. I think something that also that really helps, and I think something that is as like a culture, is I think at previous agencies, there's been a little bit more of like micromanagement, but I feel like at DLM, you are kind of expected to be performing at this level. And that almost, in my eyes, creates this culture where it's like, I know that we can kind of sit and connect with each other and have a good time, and, sit in the kitchen and get a snack and enjoy our time, but all of our work is still getting completed, and it's still getting done in a timely manner and being done to the best of our abilities. So I think it's just really cool that DLM is able to really like capitalize on pouring out to their people, having good product as in like people, and then also having really good relationships with our clients as well.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I think really helps me personally grow as an employee is our annual goals that we set. We do an annual review once a year where we sit down, and lately we've had a mentorship program. So we've been sitting down with someone a little bit more experienced, a little bit older than us, and kind of walking through those goals, walking through what we kind of envision for the next year. yeah, I think that's something really cool that DLM does. What made you kind of start that system?
Yeah. So that was a recommendation that came from Julia. Her and I worked to then kind of put together the structure. It's something that she had taken. We say a lot of times here that, we want people to present ideas. Ryan, Kyle, and I don't have all the answers. That we like when employees come up with ideas or present ideas, and we'll give it a try. And so that was an idea that she came up with, and we came around with a structure. We had for years been doing the annual evaluation where we came up with goals. She had pointed out that, and I'm a strong believer in accountability. And so by putting that mentorship program in, it allows, we have these quarterly check-ins. Some people meet more frequent than that. We leave it up to the mentor or mentee on how frequent they want to check, but it's just making sure that there's progress. Progress is being made on those goals and that they're moving forward. And it's been really successful, and it's been something that we've gotten a lot of positive feedback from the employees as we enter into year 2 or 3 of it. I don't remember exactly when we started it.
Yeah, I think that's something that, like I said, is kind of like helping to build the culture, and it also does a little bit of like inspiring and creating a deeper connection within someone that's a little bit, maybe senior or a little bit above you. I think that's kind of just something that like DLM has always been really focused on, is just continuous improvement or development. So really being able to like get feedback and improve on any sort of goals, or making sure that we have this just like throughout the entire company, just like a growth mindset within the team and within like even leadership in general. Do you think that's something that like you guys have kind of always had, or do you think that's something that you've kind of recently within the recent years kind of started to develop?
I have to give just a ton of, it comes very natural to Kyle and Ryan. We joke around a little bit sometimes that they're both the gas and I'm the brake. They're very forward thinking. They're very, both visionaries, just looking at the fact that and I was saying it earlier when we were doing the training, that the only thing that's for sure since I've been here is that things are going to change. And so, having that mindset that you can't be satisfied, that this space is continuing to evolve, it's continuing to change, it changes at a rapid rate. 2 people that are always looking forward, looking how we can innovate, how we can change, how we can do things better, and not being satisfied really is a benefit of working here. And I just really thankful that for both of their innovation and vision.
So the departments within DLM, the sales, the design, content, marketing specialist, SEO, there's a ton of us now, have really good working relationships with each other. And I find that something really endearing about DLM. I know my dad's company, I interned with them back when I was in college, is a bigger corporation. And I don't think that they really have that positive relationship. It's almost like high school cliques. My dad will talk about the different departments, or like, oh, this department did this today, or like this department's lazy, or blah, blah, blah. I really don't feel like DLM has that culture. I feel like we work so well together. We do scrums together. Like, we get along. There's not really, there's a little bit of branching out into your department, but we just had a park day event a few weeks ago, and everybody's kind of intermingled, sitting together. Is there anything that you can attribute to that really kind of family style relationship that we all have with each other?
I think right now, the hiring process really helps with it, finding people that are going to fit in and get along. Once again, I'd be lying to you if I told you it's always sunshine and rainbows and that everybody's always getting along all the time. But for the most part, what we've done is that by creating those environments where people can get together and that they can work and they can do things outside of work, and build those relationships, I think that allows them that when you do hit some of those rough paths, they provide grace to each other. And so the thing is, if you're working on a project and somebody might be a little bit behind, you're not getting upset. You're not, tattling. You're seeing what you can do to help. And that's because you've built that relationship with them, and you recognize that person is still pulling in the same direction. they're rowing the boat moving forward, and there might be other things that are going on. And so that's something that has taken a while to build over the years. It's something that is very fragile, so we have to continue to work every single day to keep, because it can change very quickly. But it is something that we're very intentional about.
With our really frequent collaboration, we do a ton of projects together. I know I already mentioned scrums. I think those multi-department team projects, I know there was a lot of pushback at the beginning. I remember the beginning of the scrums. But I think it's turned into something really good. I mean, we're able to crank these websites out in a really efficient manner. We have multiple sets of eyes working on everything, so we catch if there's mistakes, if there's typos, if there's issues with the coding, if there's issues with how things works. You know, we have tons and tons of people looking at it. It's not just one person spending a ton of time 1 week building it. I think that's something unique that DLM really has with our kind of interdepartment communication and working. How did you handle at first and kind of move forward the pushback about the scrums initially? Because I know a lot of people weren't happy. Basically, how do you handle that pushback on change?
Yeah, well, that's another, I mean, most people don't like change. I would probably put myself in that category. There's a book, and I'm drawing a blank. I think it's called Who Moved My Cheese, that Kyle recommends to people. He's a very innovative person, and I wouldn't say that he likes change, but he deals with it very well, and he recognizes that. And so when you come up with an idea and you think it through and you have that, then you stick to it. And so scrums were an idea that we put together that the way that we were doing wasn't working. And so we knew we had to change something. And so that was an idea that we got buy-in from our managers, and then we decided that we were going to stay the course. And so in the beginning, it was a lot of change to a lot of people, and it changed their workflow. It changed the way that they worked, but it was something that we needed to speed up the process of which websites were getting built. And so by taking that and dispersing it among a lot of people, which now just seems like such a common sense idea that we weren't doing it that way in the beginning, seems crazy, but it really was an idea that Kyle came up with, if I remember correctly, and then really Erica has done a great job in spearheading and organizing those and making sure, and that it's ultimately led to a good result for our clients. So when you see all of those components, you just continue to push through.
Perfect. And then I'll kind of end on this for segment 2, but besides the obvious, like Employee of the Month, the end of the year rewards, things like that, how do you acknowledge and kind of keep your employees motivated?
This I would say is something that we do in an average job with. I wouldn't say that's something that it's the best. We've done employee satisfaction surveys, and it's one of the things that come back, and we're always looking for ways to acknowledge people. We have the Employee of the Month, we have the year-end awards that we give away. We're trying to do a better job of recognizing people on projects that they do, but it is something that could definitely be improved. We have a couple ideas that have been put out there where, employees can acknowledge other employees that they're doing. There was Sam, who we just hired. He was talking to a company where they provide every employee with a certain amount of gift cards, and then they can acknowledge their fellow coworkers with good things that they do with those gift cards. So it's something we might implement. It's something that's in just the beginning phases of discussing, but it is an area that we recognize that we could do better at. There's certain things that we've done, and I think acknowledgement for hard work. If you look at whether it's the military and the badges that they have on their uniforms, or if you look at, I'm a big college football fan, the stickers that they put on their helmet, I think acknowledging people for the time, energy, and effort that they put in goes a long way. And so we've done a pretty good job, but I think that there is areas that we continue to grow, and we're always throwing around ideas of ways that we can improve.
I think it's really interesting to just kind of hear your thought process from like all the way from the beginning to what type of books you've kind of gravitated towards, and like how that has kind of impacted problem solving, communication skills, even from like building, DLM, well, not building, but like being there when it closely started. And then even just like hiring and building a team on top of that, and the culture that they're constantly in. I think it's just really cool to be able to kind of see and hear from, your own mouth, to hear these types of things that we're implementing at DLM, so that we can like consistently have this really inspiring and motivating culture to continue to grow, not just like us as, ourselves, but also DLM as a team. I think it's going to be really beneficial, especially like further down the line when, because obviously we want the company to grow continuously. So I think I'm really excited to kind of see where DLM's going to go, and also how, not only our culture, but how our team is going to be able to adapt to like these changes. I think, like you said before, like the Scrum, a lot of people were maybe not as happy about it, but like looking at it now like that, I can't believe we did it any other way. So I think that's going to be a lot of things that are going to be coming from the future. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, there's one, Kyle, Ryan, and myself got lunch with a seasoned business owner years and years ago, and he gave us very good advice, is the fact that you can develop a process and you can figure out things that work, but as your business grows, you have to continuously evaluate. And so what worked when we were 20 people may not work when you're at 40 people, which may not work when we're at 50 people. So as we top the 50, we're at 47 employees currently. As we kind of take that next step in the size of our company, continuously looking at the processes that we have in place, from an employee development, from a client development, from a results. You have to continuously be just evaluating all those to make sure that they're functioning well, and if not, figuring out strategies to improve them.
If you looked back at DLM 10, 12 years ago and could see where you've got it today, would you be surprised, or kind of what were your thoughts?
I wouldn't necessarily be surprised. I remember when I told my dad that I was leaving public accounting and that I was going to work with Ryan and Kyle, and I wasn't going to be getting paid. And he's like, "Are you sure about that?" And as a finance guy, I was going over the numbers and I was showing him and kind of telling him, talking through the numbers, but I wouldn't actually say that I was surprised. I mean, it's been a crazy ride, but working with Ryan and Kyle, they're both very motivated, dedicated people who they accomplish things that they put their minds to. We always say, when the three of us, we'll figure it out. And that really is a motto of the three of us, that no matter what problem, what issue, we had a meeting earlier today, we were talking, and we'll figure it out. If we don't, and when you're working with people that have that mindset, that there is no failure, there is no problem that you can't figure out, that's really motivating and empowering. And so did I anticipate all the bumps in the road and the problems and the stuff that we've had to get to this point? No, not at all. But to think that DLM wouldn't be successful, I've always just believed it in the bottom of my heart that it was going to be something that was going to work.
Stop shouting into the void and start making headlines. DLM's public relations services are here to turn your story into front page news. We're not just spin doctors, we're storytellers, taking your newsworthy operations to the greater public. Get the attention your brand deserves and boost your search game. Reach out to our PR maestros now.
So I know that we've talked about overcoming challenges a little bit, but I want to get specific on some common challenges, whether that be in the marketing industry, whether that be leading a marketing agency, and kind of talk about how you and your team have overcome them. So When it comes to medical marketing, what are some common issues that you see come up, whether that be client interaction, maybe trends, things like that?
Well, right now, I mean, over the 11 plus years I've been here, it's kind of changed. I think the current, issues that we're kind of seeing right now is that as you see the softening of the economy, as you see things changing, purchasing habits changing, you're starting to see some of our practices slow down. You had so much pent up demand coming out of the pandemic that the last few years have been very good for most of our clients. And so, as we kind of go into a little bit of a slowdown and a little bit of a slowdown of the month, that we're starting to face some of the challenges that we didn't face before from an economic standpoint. Those problems always provide opportunities, ways to think outside of the box to, figure out how to get leads and how to generate revenue for our practices. The second kind of challenge that I kind of see on the horizon is just what AI is going to do and how that's going to change our industry. As I was saying earlier on, the only thing that's for sure is that things are going to change, and I think that's even going to be more so with AI. We don't know how it exactly is going to affect our industry, and but there's a lot of cool tools out there, and it's a really exciting time as technology is changing at an even faster rate than it has over the last decade.
Do you think especially as like a person that, is kind of facing these challenges like head on, do you think that those almost like bring up any sort of like issues that have to do with like leadership or the team in general that were not previously there? Like, for example, like if, this client is very, very slow right now, their leads are not coming up, do you think that is something that would bring up another issue internally that we would then address?
I mean, it's a symbiotic relationship. So one thing always impacts another. And so the thing is that if our clients are slow, then that changes our workflow and what we're going to do for that client. It sometimes puts strains on the client marketing specialist relationship. And then that then trickles down through the rest of it, which creates other issues. So I think that the economic factors we take very serious, and as we adjust our strategy and some of the tactics that we're doing to make sure that our clients, as search volume kind of declines, that they're being found and that they're showing up first, so that we're capturing all of that traffic. We spent a lot of time and energy making sure that on conversion rate optimization, that's a big thing that we're pushing right now, to make sure that some of our older sites, that they're designed properly, that their call to actions are correct, that their color schemes are working, just because of the fact that while you could have an older site that was still performing pretty well when you were coming out of the pandemic and things were booming, as traffic kind of slows down, you need to make sure that you're capturing every single visitor that's coming to your website. So there's a lot of things that we're doing, but it's a symbiotic relationship between our clients, our employees, and then ourselves. So when one challenge faces, we all face it.
And kind of like you were just saying, like it's a symbiotic relationship, or like this issue has, can kind of spider web out to other things. Can you think of any other sort of, not necessarily like an issue, but almost like a lesson you've learned with like, recent times? Because like you said, like AI is changing everything so quickly. So like it could even be like you've learned that clients are now very iffy about content. Like, do they think it's ChatGPT? Like, have you learned any other lessons when you're kind of facing these client issues?
I think the thing is that what I rely on is that, like anybody else, is that the experiences and the interactions that you've had before. So we've been operating in, Kyle has, he worked at an agency before. He's been, doing this for 12 years. Ryan has been right around that 12-year mark. I've been at this for 11 years. So we're relying on the experience that we've built over that decade plus of experience working in this space, dealing with those issues. There's been other economic slowdowns, not to the level that we're starting to see right now, but if you look at the kind of the beginning of the pandemic and when, the practices couldn't perform surgeries and what those economic challenges did, that helped us for any kind of downturn that we see now. And so we're always drawing on previous experiences. And then also we have a lot of partners that we rely on for influence. A lot of them are clients. We've formed really good relationships with our clients. And so, Kyle, myself, Ryan, other managers, or even the marketing specialists, pick the brains of our clients to see what they're seeing, what they think's going to happen. To think that any of one of us can sit here and have all the answers is wrong. And so, the older I get, I don't have more answers. I just have more questions.
So as one of the owners and kind of executives of a small business, I feel like you get to see a lot more of the problems of DLM than Chandler and I and Jordan do. You not only get to see like our client problems, there's bigger client problems, there's other people's client problems. We have hundreds of clients at this point. If there's someone having issues, you're the person that they tell about it. DLM could be having issues themselves, with the economy. With everything kind of adding up, what are some tactics that you use to stay positive and just be able to keep going?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I was actually talking to Kyle today. It could be a little bit draining sometimes. There's a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of different things going on that we deal with on just a regular basis. But the things that I think that staying active, I work out every morning, get up and either run or I play basketball. Some sort of physical activity is really beneficial for me. And then I also think that the content that I consume, and so the thing is that making sure that reading through those, as I call self-help books, or those developmental books, are really encouraging, because you see that there's other people that have gone through these issues and they've come out on the other side. They've gone through issues significantly more challenging than what you're going through. And so when you're having a bad day, it doesn't take long to take inspiration from people who have gone through bigger challenges, but also to, we're extremely blessed. We live in West Michigan. It's a great area. We have a lot of positive things going for us. And so I try to focus on those things. Expressing gratitude, I think really goes a long way in changing your mood set when you are having a bad day.
Absolutely. If there was anything that you could say to an aspiring marketer, maybe someone that just graduated college, what advice would you give them?
I would say it was advice actually that I got when I was in college, is that, you draw 3 circles, you find something that you're good at, you find something that somebody will pay you to do, and then you find something that you enjoy doing, and that's what you do. And so the thing is that he used the example that he liked golfing. He was pretty good at golfing, but no one's going to pay him to be a golfer, so he's not a pro golfer. And so I think that that's the thing, that figuring out, what your traits are and what you like doing, and then what the market will allow you to do. And so once you find that thing, pour yourself into it 100%, really go after it, and it'll work out for you.
Well, awesome. I mean, that's kind of all of it on our end. We kind of, I know, picked your brain on a lot of things today, but thank you so much for coming on. It was honestly really insightful.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for joining us and sitting here in this little recording space and hanging out with us for a little bit today. I feel like I definitely have a deeper insight on just why DLM has gotten, and like how we've gotten where we are today, and kind of the hard work behind that, because as marketing specialists, we get to see a lot of the front end stuff and a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff, but it really is the hard work of the people that, boots on the ground were there before us and kind of paved the way. So it's really awesome to be able to kind of hear that history. So thank you so much for having us on. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to keep up to date with our next episodes.
Yeah. We are on Apple Music. We're on Spotify. We are on anywhere that you would find a podcast. So feel free to follow and subscribe.
Otherwise, bye now.
Like, subscribe, hit that thumbs up, comment.